Why God Loves Technology. Yes, welcome to Mark and Pete Live. I'm Pete the clergyman. With me as ever is Mark the businessman. What have you got for us this week as a subject then, Mark? Let's
Well, it's
dive
all
right in.
about technology, sir. And why is it that we're actually addicted to it?
Mhm.
When you think about surveys that have recently come to light, people are spending, on average, 4.8 hours a day on their phones, according to app monitoring firm App Annie. Now, of course, it's not just about our devices and it's just not just about TV and software. It's about all forms of technology. Why is it that now our lives are completely dominated by this? And what's interesting is that some of the surveys say that maybe we're just spending just a little bit too much time with technology. Now, here is a very simple example. Are we just simply tech tired? Today's generation is app tap happy from the moment they wear a dirty nappy to when they grow up to be a chirpy chappy who quickly becomes too top tech zappy. But after many hours of gizmos being screen touch slappy and our weary eyes are extremely flappy, we all start to feel a little bit crappy and our tempers soon get extremely snappy. Clergyman Pete, I say we're wedded to technology too much.
Yes, now that is possible. Apart from obviously going to your favorite podcast app and downloading the latest Mark and Pete episode,
Yes.
which only good things may come. Apart from that, I think it is possible to get addicted to. I would say one of the main things is the update. You know, you're checking all the time to see whether it's being updated or listening out for the notifications if you have notifications on. And so it can be constant. And this interferes with everything else you're doing because
Yes.
you get distracted. So, yeah, getting too in touch with technology, because it includes social media, but it's not just that. It's other sort of updates and notifications to do with games you're playing, to do with the latest software updates and app updates. It's all sorts of things which take your attention away from living in the moment. So I think, yeah, there is a real danger that
Well,
you're missing out on life because you've got too many apps.
indeed. Now, from a business point of view, of course, this is great because, according to App Annie's report, it indicates that apps were downloaded 230 billion times in 2021. Now, that means that it is an approximately $170 billion. For those converted to pounds, that's 125 billion pounds that were spent. Goodness me, that's a massive amount. Now, TikTok was the most downloaded app worldwide, with users spending 90% more time than compared to 2020. So we're on the increase. My question to you, Clergyman Pete, whilst we human beings are wedded to it, are there higher powers as well that are being perhaps distracted? Look at the world and the mess that we've got into, wars and conflicts. Is God distracted by technology? I ask
Well,
you.
I think, in fact, what we find, if you look at the biblical picture of God's relationship with his people, when he's calling people to be with him, what does he approve of?
Mm,
Exodus 31. This is from
ah,
Exodus 31, verses 1 to 5. The Lord said to Moses, "See, I have called by my name Bezalel, the son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. Now, the names aren't important. Let's get what to the next part of the verse, what God sees in them. He says this, and I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with ability and intelligence, with knowledge and all craftsmanship, to devise artistic designs, to work in gold, silver, and bronze, in cutting of stones for setting, in carving wood, to work in every craft." In other words, it's the ability to work with, this is the technology of the time, working with various metals. Uh, this is seen as being a good thing. In fact, God's Spirit is enabling you to do it. The development of technology has been part of believing in God and the goodness of his creation. In fact, all the development of science and engineering really comes from a Christian worldview. I would argue that's for another episode to argue that, I guess. But just taking that as read, you can see then in the way that it's presented in the Bible, God's relationship to his people, that he expects development of the latest technology. And indeed, when we go to the New Testament, and we see the people traveling around presenting the gospel message to people. and we look at how they did it, well, historically, we can look at exactly what they did. They'd carry around a book with them. You may say, a book? What's so remarkable about that? Well, books were brand new at the time. They already existed before Christians came on the scene, but Christianity, of course, a development out of Judaism in the first century. Now, when that happened, books, well, they were sort of used, but most people, almost everyone, actually used scrolls or tablets, as in stone tablets, not an iPad. And so they looking for something that they could carry easily, and as they in a knapsack or something as they travelled around, and a book was necessary. So you cut up a parchment scroll or something like that, and you made a book from it, and in it you would have a collection of the Psalms, Prophet Isaiah's book, and the Gospels, and maybe one or two of the early letters in the church, and you'd carry them around with you. So this was latest technology. It's the equivalent today of having the latest Android phone or the latest iPhone, or a tablet, the new meaning of the word tablet, with you, carrying that with you. It's the same thing.
Well,
so as technology develops even more, good apps come out, but even new devices, maybe some sort of plug-in device which plugs into your wrist or something like that. But the latest technology is encouraged in the Bible, which hence our title, God Loves Technology. I would say he's behind it, his inspiration. People filled with the Spirit have the ability to come up with these new advances in technology. God loves technology.
Well, that's really good to know. Now, the thing here is, though, from a commercial point of view, there is good and there is bad. Now, one of the things that a lot of people do criticize software companies for is the gaming side. So, one of the things that the study highlighted was that people are spending approximately 116 billion on them. Now, of course, while they're very popular, of course, people can get very addicted to it. Now, what I also find out, rather amusing, is that, of course, it's not just about the gamings. It's the fact we get so adhered to it. There are even well-being applications, meaning that you're trying to improve your frustration, if you like, with technology. If it goes wrong or you just simply can't get rid of it, you get withdrawal symptoms. You can even have apps that improve your well-being. So it's almost like our entire lives are being driven by the software world and, of course, the technology world. I wonder where it ends. You mentioned about the idea of technology being plugged into your wrist, maybe your brain. Surely this could go too far. How
Yes.
far can technology really
Yeah.
go?
Well, that's the problem. The problem will be if you're constantly plugged in via these devices, via these apps, to the internet, be that social media or other uses of the internet, the addiction to it can be constant. I mean, you have your sleep disrupted. Uh,
Exactly.
you could, because you're not relating to people around you, you don't notice it, but you're actually rather isolated socially.
Yes.
You can get the classic idea of attention deficit disorder symptoms because you're so isolated from real human contact. You end up not being able to read people, so you get emotionally impaired. Your social intelligence is reduced. So
Yeah.
it's really looking, and there's been quite a bit of scientific research put into this. Neurological changes take place in the brain if you're constantly plugged into technology. So sure, there are serious problems with it.
Yes. Well, I would say that probably the obvious thing here to do is to plug yourself into a Mark and Pete show and have that playing all
Yeah,
day.
yes. But well, the thing is, just think of the other way. As I say about, I would say, as a vicar, as a Christian minister, that it's important to be plugged into God. Well, you could have the Bible playing.
Why not?
You could have access to various teachings, on not just on Christian teachings, various philosophical thoughts. You can get access to the world libraries. So I believe that there are positives and negatives, and God loves technology because it can be used for good. Yeah, so let's leave it there. I think that we'd like to hear from you, so let us know in the comments below, or you can go to our podcast page, markandpete.com. We'll take you there. Leave us a comment. We'd love to include you later. Don't forget to subscribe as well, because there's plenty more comment to come. But from Mark and myself, it's bye for now. Catch you next time.